Hello?
Yay.
Okay.
Thank you, Carl.
Oh, let's get back to the important things like the Madison Cawthorn tape, because you were talking, but I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Right. I was just going to say, there are 12 days left until his primary election in North Carolina.
Yes.
And if this is what's happening every day up until then, who knows where we're going to be on the 17th.
Right.
Dear God. I know. Yeah, and imagine what the Russians have on all of them, right? On people that you would summon to Moscow on the 4th of July. Amazing.
And this is a Republican group that is releasing this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't think it's bad to be gay. So it's the hypocrisy as usual, right, Carl? I mean, it's we don't care that you dress in women's clothes or whatever, but but you do. You're the party that puts out horrible anti-gay, anti-trans not just things, but laws, right?
We've had LGBTQ Republican members of Congress before who voted for LGBTQ rights. So it's not something new. I think the hypocrisy is the difference.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you said Virginia is only one Senate seat away from becoming the next state to ban abortion. Virginia. We must take back our House majority expansion. Virginia is not a red state.
Right.
No, it's not. It's blue, maybe purple sometimes, but blue. And, if Republicans had their way, if they were able to win the state Senate, there's certainly a large faction of them who would like to ban all abortion in the Commonwealth rather than keeping it safe and legal.
Yeah. I had a couple of great ones for your political strategist hat. Robert Reich said, newsflash, if you outlaw abortions, ban mask mandates, dictate what educators can teach in schools, and stop people from voting, you're not the party of limited government. Isn't that, really a good message for the midterms?
Yeah, and I also think we need to stop, and I've done it myself, talking about banning abortion. It's really about criminalizing abortion.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can change the law, but people are still going to have abortions. They're just not going to be safe and legal.
Right. Well, and on cue, the Louisiana GOP, Republicans in Louisiana are now pushing to reclassify abortion as homicide, which could result in criminally charging mothers who terminate pregnancies. The Louisiana House Appropriations Committee voted to advance new legislation that would classify abortion as murder, as you just said, Carl. The one state representative there, right? After 50 years, they just can't wait anymore. They got to,
Right. Well, and this is going to get complicated really quickly. You're seeing a lot of corporations stepping up and saying that they're going to continue to support their employees with abortion access. And, what about people who are going to get abortion pills through the mail? So you don't necessarily need a clinic to have an abortion. And, there's a lot of gray area that's going to be worked out here. And we'll see what the ultimate decision ends up being.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could be worse.
But isn't this, Carl, a perfect example of that we did not take this seriously in 2016? You remember, everybody's playing the clip now. Donald Trump on tape with Chris Matthews. Because people thought he was so ridiculous anyway, Donald Trump, that they just, he's just, because people know he's been pro-choice all his life. I'm sure he's paid for God knows how many abortions, right? But he said, there's got to be some punishment for the woman. Yeah, there's got to be some, and we just thought, that's whatever. He said he's going to put judges on that will overturn Roe v. Wade, right?
Right. And that's exactly what it looks like they're going to be doing. And sure, you want to know how these things happen, but let's focus on the matter at hand.
And speaking of hypocrisy, watch on a dime how they turn if it's someone on their side that leaked it, which could very well be the case, right?
Yeah, right. Who knows? What we know is that the court has authenticated the document, and that's frightening.
Yeah. And April Wolff tweeted, I feel like I'm losing my mind when analysts and pundits say this leak has ruined the legitimacy of the court. When one justice tried to rape a girl, another's in a literal cult, and yet another harassed women and then helped his wife plan a coup. What are we doing here? Really? Now a warning about the legitimacy of the court, right?
Right. Well, if you want a legitimate Supreme Court, there's a bunch of things you could do. You can't put term limits without a constitutional amendment, but you could rotate seasoned justices off the bench and allow presidents to appoint replacements by making them in active status. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. You could force justices to actually recuse themselves when they have a conflict of interest on a case before them. And they routinely do not. They routinely fail cases have been heard and decided.
Yeah. So we were talking about this, that Ben Shapiro, of course, the right-wing lunatic, is already calling out the Supreme Court to overturn Obergefell, the landmark ruling in favor of same-sex marriage. He said, first of all, Obergefell is a bad Supreme Court decision, and if we had a Supreme Court worth its salt, they would overturn Obergefell, but they're not going to. Yeah, he says, well, because then he said, Alito says, I think 3 separate times in that decision that I read yesterday, that it has no impact on other cases of different lines. This draft ruling or anything else, right?
If this is the ruling that we're getting, I'm guessing that there's some politics at play here.
Yes.
In order to get Gorsuch, who has ruled, I believe Gorsuch wrote the opinion that allowed LGBTQ people to be considered protected class under Title IX. I would imagine that in order to get his vote, which gets them to 5, they had to include that language. But it's legally murky at best.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, they all said they would never overturn Roe in their confirmation hearing. So who believes that, oh, no, this is just about abortion?
I mean, I know Susan Collins is shocked, but I'm not.
Yeah. Shocked. Right. Well, what do you think the chances are of her and Murkowski putting their money where their mouth is and codifying Roe v. Wade? Then, or helping us, get rid of the filibuster, whatever it is. If you really believe in women's rights like you say you do, and you're really disappointed and feel tricked, what are you going to do about it? Right?
Absolutely nothing. There's zero chance they will help. I mean, this assumes that they were being honest when they said they were shocked. I mean, you'd have to be, you'd have to have no pulse and, to assume that Republicans who are being supported by everybody on the right who wants to criminalize abortion and queer people, that these people would not want to criminalize abortion and queer people.
Yeah. I know what you're thinking is you'd like to hear more about what Susan Sarandon thinks about all this, correct?
Who doesn't think that?
Right?
I am so on team Eric Swalwell. He tweeted, can everyone all at once tell Susan Sarandon to sit this one out? She's caused enough trouble. Us real progressives will take it from here. And so Susan Sarandon tweeted back at him, Dems are going to use this to fundraise and get you to vote for them again, despite sitting on their hands for the last 2 years instead of actually standing up for anything. Their only strategy is scaring you into voting blue. Your thoughts on that? I have a bunch of thoughts on that.
What do you,
does she not understand how the filibuster works? Does she not understand that Joe Manchin, one Democrat, is the person standing in the way of codifying Roe v. Wade, and that if we got even one more senator, we could get this done? Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Serious introspection, which she's not capable of.
Right. Well, what's her plan? You vote for more Republicans or stay home? What's that going to do? I mean, it's just, of course we need more Democrats.
Her plan is like, she wants to make things so bad that people come along to her point of view.
I'll say, because as we say every single day here, how are you going to stop rich white ladies from getting abortions? You're not. It's just...
Again, you're not banning abortion. They are not banning abortion. They are criminalizing abortion.
Yeah.
They're criminalizing women doing what women have done for all of humankind.
Yeah.